Shedeur Sanders held out of Browns practice with arm soreness. Shedeur Sanders has had a difficult time making a name for himself with the Cleveland Browns since being drafted in the 5th round in the 2025 NFL Draft. It has only been a few months, but there has been a draft slide, a quarterback competition, and no first team so far during training camp. Despite all that adversity, Sanders has continued to perform, but on Saturday, the former Colorado quarterback was held out of team drills. The Browns said that they limited Sanders on Saturday due to arm soreness, which many took to social media and said the decision seemed fishy. While Sanders is not expected to get a ton of first-team representatives, if any, it is surprising to see him sit out a practice with an apparent injury. He was one of the toughest college players last season, playing through several minor ailments to lead the Buffaloes to a 9-win year. Considering the Browns spent a draft pick, albeit only a 5th-rounder, on Sanders, it would bode well for them to see where it fits on their depth chart. Sanders hopes his arm injury is behind him with the first Browns preseason game coming up on Friday, August 8th. Things got interesting on Friday afternoon when Cowboys linebacker Micah Parsons made a public trade request. The next question is a simple one. What will the Cowboys and owner Jerry Jones do next? The choices are fairly simple. Refuse to do it. Agree to do it. Make him an offer on a long-term deal that he will accept. Coach Brian Schottenheimer is due to meet with reporters later today. General media availability follows practice. Chances are that most players will echo receiver CD Lamb, who tweeted a simple message on Friday. Just pay the man what you owe him. The magic number, in our view, is $45 million in new money average. That's just one factor. Structure, guarantees, and years will be critical, too. When the Cowboys were negotiating Dak Prescott's first veteran contract, one of the major sticking points was whether he'd sign a 4-year deal or a 5-year deal. The other dynamic at play is this. If the trade request operates as a foot in the ass to a team that drags its feet, will it matter? It's possible that Parsons isn't bluffing. That throwing money at the problem won't do what it did for Myles Garrett after he demanded a trade out of Cleveland. What if Parsons truly wants out and will reject any and all offers the Cowboys make? The problem for Parsons is that the Cowboys hold his rights for 2025 at $24 million. They can apply the franchise tag, exclusive or non-exclusive, for 2026 and again for 2027. It becomes ridiculously expensive to do it a third time. Thus, the Cowboys can keep Parsons around for 3 years. They can say, if you want to play football, here's where you will play. That reality alone could be enough to get Parsons to not say no thanks to $45 million a year, if the Cowboys offer it. In the blazing heat of a Cleveland summer morning, the buzz around the Browns training camp wasn't about touchdowns or flashy throws. It was about who wasn't throwing. Rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders, the electrifying 5th-round pick who had fans chanting his name before he'd even taken a preseason snap, was conspicuously absent from the action. The reason? Arm soreness. While the initial team statement labeled it as precautionary, the silence afterwards spoke volumes. There were no flashy tweets from Shedeur. No reassuring words from his father, Deion Sanders. Just an empty spot where number 2 usually stood, launching spirals that made fans believe the future might arrive sooner than expected. Whispers around Berea. At first, it was dismissed. Probably just some overuse, said one assistant coach. He's been slinging it non-stop since rookie minicamp. But by the second hour of practice, reporters began noticing more than just his absence. There was a quiet tension in the air. Head coach Kevin Stefanski offered little. We're just being smart. It's camp. Long season ahead. But was it just soreness? Inside the Browns facility, there was a quiet tug-of-war unfolding. Some coaches, impressed by Shedeur's poise and pocket intelligence, were pushing for a legitimate QB competition. Others believed it was still Deshaun Watson's team, injuries, inconsistency, and all. For Shedeur, this soreness couldn't have come at a worse time. He had just come off a highlight-filled scrimmage where he went 9-for-11 with 2 deep strikes that drew gasps from the crowd. Momentum was building. Now, doubt had crept in. From Boulder to the big leagues. To understand the moment, you have to understand the journey. Shedeur Sanders wasn't just another quarterback. He was the son of a legend, molded in front of cameras, groomed under expectations that could drown most players. In Colorado, he played with flair, confidence, and a chip on his shoulder. His college career was marked by game-winning drives, viral moments, and a fierce loyalty to his father coach. In the NFL, the stakes were higher, the spotlight harsher. But this wasn't Boulder. This was Cleveland, A city that hasn't had a franchise quarterback since Bernie Kosar. Every spiral, every missed rep, mattered. The ripple effect. With Shedeur sidelined, Dylan Gabriel and veteran backup Tyler Huntley got more representatives. And while both performed solidly, it was clear the offense had lost a bit of its edge. There was something about Shedeur's rhythm, his quick decisions, his understanding of timing routes, that had begun to separate him from the pack. Fans noticed. Social media buzzed. If he's already breaking down, maybe he's not ready for the big leagues. Protect Shedeur. He's our future. Don't rush it. Why isn't Deshaun out here either? Something's off in Cleveland. What was supposed to be a calm day of development became a media firestorm. ESPN's ticker ran. Shedeur Sanders held out of practice. Precaution or problem? Deion's shadow. Back in Texas, Deion Sanders took to Instagram with a cryptic post. A photo of Shedeur in a Browns jersey with the caption, "Built different. Rest when needed. #trust God." It was the only comment from the family, but it was enough to spark debate. Was Coach Prime hinting at something more? Was there internal disagreement over how Shedeur was being handled? Some analysts speculated that Shedeur had been throwing too much, too soon, in an effort to impress a coaching staff split on his NFL readiness. Others believed he had been limited by a minor tweak for days and the Browns had simply kept it quiet, until now. Either way, it was clear, the Shedeur Sanders story was no longer just about talent. It was about durability and trust. The bigger picture. For Shedeur, this isn't a career-altering injury, at least, not yet. But it's a test. A test of how his body handles the NFL grind. A test of how he responds to adversity. A test of how the Browns manage their future. The organization finds itself at a crossroads. On one side, a franchise QB on a fully guaranteed deal still trying to reclaim his past form. On the other, a rookie with flash, charisma, and a name that already sells jerseys. And now, a sore arm. The injury may not be serious, but the implications are. Every missed rep is a missed opportunity to challenge for QB1. Every day off is another reason for Stefanski to stick with the status quo. The NFL waits for no one.